Forget Melrose. 90210 was a joke. It's time to get real. You're listening to The Real Realtors of the 804 with Janice Taylor, Richmond's #1 award-winning realtor. Janice and the Taylor team are here to bring you answers, give you insight, and share their experience in the real estate world. And now, Janice Taylor.
Hi, everyone. This is Janice Taylor with RE/MAX Commonwealth. This is our third podcast. Hope you've gotten to know us a little bit by now. Excuse me. We're so excited to be sharing information with you all and telling you a little bit about our real estate lives as well. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the state of the market, whether to list, when to buy, how the market's changing just ever so slightly. It's still a hot market. We still don't want you to worry about real estate. It's still going great, especially in Richmond. But we'd like to share some statistics with you later and tell you a little bit about what's going on in our lives as far as listing with sellers and buyers. So I'm going to turn it over to David, who's going to talk a little bit about...
How about introducing people?
Oh, okay. I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was after the third podcast. So anyway, statistics got me crazy. You know why I'm crazy? I'm crazy because my daughter Jennifer came in here, doesn't want to be here because she just spilled an entire cup of coffee.
Oh, she went
all over her pants.
It wasn't being aired, but okay.
Yeah.
Luckily, the camera angle is above
It is. We're
I
good.
mean,
pants line.
I'm not comfortable.
we are whining a lot right now, but she's sucking it up and doing it for the team.
Taking it for the team.
Yeah, I really am.
Anyway, I'd like to introduce to you David Ogle, who works on our team with buyers and sellers and awesome realtor, and Jennifer Ogle, the staging expert of our team, who has a lot to say about the market right now because she's really busy too with the staging. So anyway, I'm going to turn it over to...
The producer?
Oh, Michael, I'm sorry. I suck at this today, guys. Michael Resendez, our producer, who we think is doing a great job, and he is really keeping us in tow, that's for sure.
Well, we need to talk about also the new logo. We
Yes.
decided on that.
Yes, that's so cool.
Is it pretty cool? Do you like it?
We like our banners. We love our logo.
The thumbnails are coming along.
Yep.
Yeah.
The furniture doesn't look too sloppy and
Floating.
I don't know. That was a big discrepancy. I'm not sure. It looks a little floaty to me, but...
But did you notice? I don't know if David noticed that I stuck him in the truck hanging out.
I did notice that I was kind of hanging off to the side a little bit, which was, pretty par for the course.
When I was creating these, I was just laughing the whole entire time.
Those of you who know me know I'm a little bit of an OCD perfectionist, and as my husband,
Makes her a great realtor.
As my carpet layer yesterday, who did carpet in my personal home, I thought he was going to quit. Anyway, some of these little off-the-cuff things that happen on podcasts, I'm learning to live with because I'm like, no, do it better, make it look perfect. And I know it's not supposed to be
We need to
perfect.
get it out there.
Yeah, I know. That's what we're doing. Good enough is good enough, but that scares me a lot. Anyway, so, David, you want to talk a little bit? We'll talk about some buyers today, what buyers are feeling right now, what sellers are feeling in the market, what's really required to get your house sold, even though, it's still tempering a little bit. So,
Yeah,
what
I
are
think
you seeing?
I think there's definitely changes. Part of it has to do with some of the mortgage rates rising up. There's still a lack of inventory, though. So from a buyer standpoint, you still have to get out there. You still have to jump on homes as they come available. If you wait, they're gone. So that's kind of part of it from a buyer perspective, but we'll definitely get more into that. And then, a couple great new listings that we have coming available in the next probably 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So the staging's been rocking and rolling, and maybe you can kind of chat about where your day goes when that staging starts for these new listings.
Oh, yep. Well, we're going to stage right after this, after I change my pants. And I will say, like, when the market was hot and things were not staying on the shelves, I guess, it was definitely a big question with our sellers. Do we to stage or not to stage, I guess. And so for sure, I think it was kind of easy to say, hey, we can just slap a sign in the yard and this will go quick. But I think for our sellers, we were able to kind of give the statistics like we are and the means of us being able to provide that free service for them and get them more money than anything else going in their neighborhood because, one, it looked great, it photographed great, the people coming in could see, themselves living there because we kind of make it, very neutral, blank canvas, great up-to-date furniture, and the pictures show really well. So it would have been easy to kind of go by the wayside with that, but we definitely kept it going, and now it's coming back even more necessary than ever with a little bit longer on market times and things like that.
That's totally true, Jennifer. I mean, I actually had a realtor who referred a listing to us. He was from a different area, and I said, well, we're going to need a little bit of time to get this house staged and ready to go. And he said, why? He said, just slap a sign on it. It'll sell immediately. And I went, yeah, that's you could think that in most markets, and certainly in our market, a lot of realtors did that. We never lost sight of the fact that you only have that one chance to make a first impression, and our impressions are always going to be great because every pillow is going to be fluffed, every picture is going to be straightened. There's not going to be a towel in a photo. There's not going to be kids' toys all over the place that aren't, all organized or something. So we never really lost sight of that. We might have in the past 8 months probably slowed down our renovation process, our refurbishing, if you will, with requiring painting and requiring new carpet. Things like that, because we do always want to be sure our sellers get a 2-to-1 return on anything that we suggest that they do, because those things were being overlooked when the overbids came in. But the photographs, as our producer photographer knows so well, have to be on point, and now more than ever, really. So we are talking to our sellers, more realistically now, and just saying, look, we still want you to be the house that sells in, over the weekend and has multiple offers. We can't guarantee it anymore, but, we've got to do our best foot forward. So we're back to calling our contractors again who thought they were fired and saying, guys, I need some estimates on carpet. Maybe we're given a credit now instead of doing it all, and if it doesn't look that bad. But purchasers, they're scared too, because the interest rates, they just don't have as much liquidity, if they're putting more money down to get the rate, to get the payment down. So we're trying to make these houses as move-in as we can, but they're just not flying off the shelf, as you said, they were before. So,
yeah, I think the other key to that is just when you have a house in perfect condition, everybody was getting 5 offers, 6 offers. Our clients were getting 12 offers or 14 offers. So the bottom line is that net to our sellers was a lot higher because of the staging, because of the extra detail. And I think that's what sometimes people overlook. Everybody goes, oh, my house sold, I'm thrilled with the number. Well, would you have been thrilled with 15,000 more or 20,000 more?
Right.
Because things were done.
A lot of money was left on the table for some sellers that.
That's right. I mean, a lot of people said, hey, let's go to the discount broker. Let's go. We know it's going to sell. Let's go for sale by owner. And I think what people avoid noticing is that the net is really what matters. So if you get full service, if you get, the house in perfect condition, and that leads to more offers, then usually the net is going to be higher when you use the Taylor team for listing your house, because the house looks great and you're getting more people through the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
What do you think people get really discouraged on when you come in and start telling them what they need to do? What do you think is like a real big hurdle sometimes?
It's really more the soft shoe approach to doing this. It's certainly, honest and transparent. We don't really try to pull any punches, and, we tell them exactly what's going to happen based on our consultation. And we always leave it with, you are the seller, you have veto power over anything we suggest. Or we preface it by saying, how much do you have? How much do you want to spend? So they're prepared before we start giving them, our wish. We call it our wish list. And it's like Santa's list. It's the wish list. They're not going to get every toy they ask for. We're not going to get every toy we ask for. But once we do go through the house with them and they see it from our eyes, which is going to be the buyer's eyes, they start to say, gosh, I didn't realize that looked as cluttered as it does, or something. And Jennifer, maybe you can speak a little bit more, because you deal with the contractors more. What our process is from, once we give them our wish list and we tell them the things that, we might want to improve, their take on, once we get the contractors in and all of that.
I think we kind of touched a little bit on it in one of the previous episodes, but we go in for our consultation and go through room by room, and we're making mental notes. I'm making notes that I don't give the seller just for us so we can remember exactly like this room had a lot of marks on a wall, or maybe it needs a new light fixture, and then we kind of go through it with them. I say within 48 hours, where our contractors are at their house, or some don't even need to go to their house. Like our window washer can kind of guesstimate. Our carpet cleaner, I can tell how many rooms need cleaned, so we can get those prices turned around. Then we'll try 1 or 2 estimates from our painters, and they'll come in and we kind of break it down room by room. So if someone says, I really don't want to do this big room or the second floor, we can mark off. But then in our file, we, have all the notes in case a buyer does come along and say, oh gosh, this blue room might cost $2,000 to paint that and the trim. We're like, well, in actuality, it's $500. We have the quote right here. So, and then carpet, same way. We come in and bring them in. A lot of times we'll either give a credit, add it to the price or something like that. But, that's in the file. We have all the numbers in the files to kind of.
And I think that's actually kind of part of the question that Michael asks is when you have your daughter's pink room that you painted just for her to be
right,
in her new nursery, or your son's perfectly blue or teal room, or in our case, a room that I painted I think 3 times for our daughter when she was born.
Correct.
Those are the ones that get a little harder to kind of tiptoe around. Is hey, it worked great for my kids. Why do I need to paint it? There's going to be a little girl that moves into this room.
So that goes to the what we're talking about today is the market the way it is, and staging. Mm-hmm. Does it really matter on the volume that the buyer or wants to do? Like that's what do you think is the extreme to not the extreme on all the things you guys bring to the table and how today's market is?
Well, 2 steps to the staging. One is what we provide to them at no charge. And that basically is bringing the furniture in, bringing the lamps, the pictures, making each room showcase. Second is what they bring to the table monetarily to take care of some of these items, which, as I mentioned before, they really didn't have to do in the past 6 or 8 months because we just had to get the house looking fresh and clean, not new paint, new carpet or anything, because the buyers weren't really expecting that. The inventory was just so low, they were buying anything and overbidding for it. So the 2-step process now is back. And, I think...
Does the market hold it that way, though?
The market is tried and true. Staging has been around for 20 years. I can prove that because I think we still might have a few pictures with golds and reds and all of that in there that we tried to refurbish all of our staging things and put them in. Stay on trend, give them to Goodwill or something. But we've been doing staging for so long. And it certainly is something that buyers are so used to now. And you can just look at how many staging companies there are out there. I mean, there are professional staging companies that do not only just, big office buildings and all, but they do individual homes, as well. But so now, and that part, people look around and go, yeah, you can really bring your furniture in and bring movers in and move everything around in a day. I said, the longest we've ever taken to stage a house is probably 4 hours, once we've determined what we're bringing in, and all of that. So we do not suggest anything that's not going to get our sellers at least a 2-to-1 return. So if they spend, $5,000 painting, it's going to get them $10,000 back. And we have, statistics that prove all of that.
Right.
So if they want to spend $25,000 refurbishing a bathroom, we're not going to suggest that because they're not going to get $50,000
So what about the home
back.
inspection after they do all the everything, staging and all that, and then the home inspection says, oh, you guys need a new roof?
Yeah, so I think that's a totally separate piece, and we try to establish that early on in that when we have the staging side of it and get the listing, that's the initial negotiation. The secondary negotiation might be inspections, which are coming back. We haven't seen inspections for almost 2 years, 18 months at least, where things have been so competitive for our buyers that you're waiving inspections. You might be waiving appraisal, and if you didn't, you weren't competitive in the market. And sometimes our buyers would take a little while to figure that out. They'd write that first contract, and you'd make recommendations. Hey, this is what we're seeing in the market. This is what I think you need to do. And based on my experience, you might need to be 5% over. You might be 10% over, but you're going to have to waive inspections and appraisal if you want your offer accepted. And that's now starting to go away. We're starting to
Let's
see
say, is
inspections
everyone,
back.
all the agents just following each other just because that's what the norm is now? Like,
Well, Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to, hey, if you're negotiating, sometimes you're negotiating price down and you're trying to get your client the lowest price. In the last 18 months, you're trying to get your client the house. That's their goal. Their goal is to get the house. With rates at 3.5%, 4%, now jumping to 6 3/8, that's a big change.
Mm-hmm.
So where a lot of people would say, hey, I'd rather pay a little bit more for the house to have it done, to have it fully staged, to have it painted and all of those things done. I think we'll see a little shift where, buyers say, okay, at 6 3/8, maybe my affordability has changed, which it has. Or I might be able to do some work, elbow grease, things. I just had a buyer last week close on a house. That was hey, there's our first interruption. So I forgot to silence
You better
the phone.
Oh, ringer off.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the rule. If the phone rings during the podcast and it's not on silent, you have to answer it.
On speakerphone.
Take
happy
the
to do
call.
that.
You've got to take the call.
Well, this is a good segment to go into what the market's doing right now, I think.
Yeah, so I think we'll pull the snapshot at least every couple podcasts just to say where things are. And just a breakdown of last week as we went into the market. We had 357 new listings, which was down 13.14%, which again talks about inventory. Even though rates are up, the inventory is still not there to take care of all these buyers. Pending sales were down 3.5%. There were 495 pending sales.
When I'm booked only a week and a half, I know we're slow.
That's right. It
We,
changes.
we usually use you as a barometer.
Exactly.
How busy are you this week? I'm really busy. I'm like, guys, he's so busy. Where's our listings
When
coming
I'm
up?
not doing 7 a day, then
Yeah.
That's right. And that's actually a really good point that you can see in our market how busy our lenders are, how our appraisers are, how hard is it for an appraiser to get an appointment
we're doing
set
a
up.
podcast.
That's right. That's right.
We had a little bit of extra time to put something else on the plate.
But you know who you can't get these days? Not to change that because we're going to get back to that. You can't get the contractors because everybody who bought still wants to do things to their house.
Right.
We're requiring people to do things to their house to get them on the market. The contractors are crazy right now.
Yeah.
Well, the other shift that you're seeing is that inspectors' time, which for a period of time was going to walk-in talks. They had to shift their business model because there were no home inspections and started doing a walk-in talk where they'd meet our buyers at a showing for maybe a 30-minute visit and try to cover the big items. Now they're shifting back into full inspections. Their schedules are busier, and that's quite a shift too.
What's the price of houses that are sitting longer than others right now?
The price of house sitting longer than others.
I'm saying, like, is it still
The
the
price
sweet
point
spot?
that's
Yeah, the
taking
price point.
longer?
Like,
Under 450.
Yeah. I think that, it's that first-time home buyer, the people that, are moving to their third home, fourth home, actually conventional rates are almost 1.8 higher than where the jumbo rates are. So the jumbo rates are still at 5.5% if you're a jumbo conforming, and that limit went up. So I think what you're seeing from that standpoint is that, the high-end stuff is still moving quickly, as evidenced by, one of our huge listings that went under contract in a day. It's some of the smaller stuff where
Really?
that affordability changed. Wow. Yeah. So I think that kind of all blends together.
Yeah, it's, the higher end market interest rates haven't affected, those buyers obviously as much. And, a lot of them are cash buyers now. So, but, when these first time home buyers and second time home buyers, start paying a higher interest rate, it's just normalizing. It was just so falsely deflated before, but now it's just going to normalize. And, all indications look like rates are, at least all of our, National Association of Realtors, RE/MAX statistics show that they are going to start coming down again in 2023. And prices are not going to fall. They may not go up at the peak that they have been, but it'll certainly start normalizing.
I think the media is trying to push something that that's not what's happening in reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're wanting this so-called bubble burst type of
Right.
thing, and it's just not, because I think the government has these mandates that are going to protect it for not doing it.
Yeah, and I think that whole last bubble was subprime mortgages. It was no doc loans, things that
10 years ago,
weren't
yeah,
there.
9
Yeah,
years ago.
100% or financing.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's on huge homes. So, the job market, obviously there's more jobs than we even can fill right now. And I think that the economists are all saying that the real estate market is going to continue to be strong. Affordability is changing with the rates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were saying affordability is changing with the rates, no question. So, but again, and the Richmond market has always been stable. We really, haven't seen, foreclosures in the past 10 years that we've seen before that. So I don't anticipate that we're going to see a lot. And one big indicator, I will tell you, and I know all of our audience knows this, how many times do you get called? Do you want to sell your house? I've got somebody who wants to buy your house. Or do you have investment property? There are people still out there just clamoring for investment property right now. And so, that's something that really hasn't gone away yet. And if that is still the case, then obviously our market is strong here. Our rental market is strong. We've got colleges that require rental, VCU and all of those, 30,000 students, require rental properties. So all of that is still keeping, at least Richmond stable and on the rise.
Well, and those rental costs are through the roof right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So even with rates going up some,
Those won't go down though.
no, those are not going to go down. Houses can still be more affordable or are more affordable to purchase than it is to go out and rent something right now,
Yeah.
especially for something for the same size. I have a doctor client who's looking for something small in Richmond right now. And if she doesn't get into it the first day, it's selling. But her goal is to hold on to it as part of her investment portfolio because she doesn't see it as a long-term stay here in Richmond. So she's going to build that as another investment home. I think it will be her third or fourth that she's done in each of the localities that she's lived in. So rather than buying the big house, she's going to buy something a little bit smaller, but that has a great return from a rental standpoint.
Or like Airbnb.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, anything else?
I mean, I think
We covered a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as we said, just the state of the market now going into our third quarter or in our third quarter, we feel we feel a pinch like everybody does. I mean, there's a pinch because listings are down and all of that, but it gives us some time to kind of regroup our marketing strategies, regroup our client touch, get back with our referral people and our wonderful people who are going to be watching our great podcast and getting great information.
Oh, yeah.
And, to sustain what we've been doing in the past 6 to 8 months and everybody going, oh, you've got to be so busy, you've got to be so busy. We were busy, but we weren't productive busy. I mean, we were showing houses. We were, putting houses on the market that, we were worried if the buyer was still going to stick, if it didn't appraise, if they found something on the house that they didn't like. Buyers agents were out there showing 20 houses at a time and not getting them. So in our world, and I think most all agents would agree, yes, it's been a great year, but the year before was a lot more productive for everybody. I think just time well spent. But this now gives us some time to, sit back and, we want our sellers to sell right away. We want them to get the best price. But I think as it normalizes and calms down a little bit, it's going to just hone everybody's skills a little bit more. There was a lot of sloppy real estate contracts written.
I was just going to ask, how much do you think the realtors or the unexperienced realtors have a disservice to the market and where things should have been and or where they are now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. No, I think that one of the biggest factors in where some of these sloppy contracts and maybe not the best productive agents handling some of the buyers out there is you have internet leads. So people are jumping onto websites. They don't realize that they're going to get a random buyer's agent to call them back. They don't realize the experience level of that agent.
Right.
And they're just basically saying, hey, can you get me in to show me this house? Because I know I have to get in there right away. I think that there's, a lot of people that don't have a lot of experience dealing with inspections, dealing with appraisals, dealing with issues that might be out there and negotiating, that it's easy when they're just kind of going out and taking orders and writing contracts and writing them as high as a buyer's willing to go, what we're going to see shift now is agents with experience that know how to deal through those things, holding deals together. We're seeing more and more homes come back on the market as we get back into inspections and back into appraisals. And I think what's going to happen is some of those agents are going to realize it's not that easy. I mean, there's a lot of experience that goes into holding a deal together, and just finding your agent on a random website that calls you back first or gets a lead that comes through the internet. Those are the people that don't really have the experience to hold those deals together in all cases.
Yeah, same thing with the listings. You know, the agents that just put signs up before, and don't get me wrong, I mean, new agents are great. They're well educated, you know, attend lots of classes, you know, maybe have a coach or something like that. So we're not dismissing them by any means, but, you know, the ones that just went out there and were order takers, you know, off of internet leads and things like that, you know, we do a lot of internet marketing and we do try to vet these leads pretty well because some of them just clicked a button and they didn't even know, you know, they were asking about a house. So, but, you know, I think we're going to find, you know, a lot more people that, sustainability, you know, of the agents that have been in the market for a while and want to stay in it. And, you know, just the experience is going to count, whether it's preparing the house, pricing the house. Pricing the house, I'll touch on quickly. I was at a listing appointment the other day and they had Realtor.com, Zillow, all of their estimates, all of their internet, you know, sales prices of their house. They were all over the board. I mean, not one of them was in line with the other one. And they said, why is this? I said, you know, because the market's changing so much. The internet just pulls up your leads based on, you know, sales inventory and what's sold. They don't know if the house was, you know, updated. They don't know if it had a new roof. They don't know if they had 10 contracts on it and what caused it to go up that high.
Yeah, just an algorithm based on tax records.
Right.
So, you know, I think now more than ever, the Zestimates and the, you know, any of the internet pricing, you know, features that these sellers were using before are definitely need to be honed, you know, by a professional realtor at this point. So, but.
Sounds like a perfect topic for another podcast.
Say,
We could do a whole big one on pricing. That's so cool. Anyway, we hope you've gotten great information from us today. I mean, a little bit of the casual approach to giving you our take on what the market is doing now and how it's changing a little bit. And we hope you...
and how important staging is for this market.
Yes.
You know what? We're probably going to just drive that to the ground with you guys, probably.
I think we need a podcast in our pillow unit.
Yeah, we should do a podcast from our staging warehouse.
I think this would be a good...
Do we have power there? That's the thing.
We could
get
run
it.
We have
some
extension
cords.
cords.
Yeah.
We
A
have
generator?
lots of extension
We do have
cords.
a unit just dedicated
Did
to pillows.
Did we mention that staging is free with the Taylor
It
team?
is free.
Zero cost to you.
And us in your homes for a day or two is wonderful.
It's fun. It's actually fun. And our sellers, I think, really
And
enjoy
Most
it.
days it's fun to have them in your house.
And you get to hear, Jennifer! Jennifer!
There's some arguments, but we have our own strong opinions, and that's
We
okay.
love our sellers to watch what we do, but it's sometimes they go, "What's happening here?" You know. So,
Well, Jennifer, where can you find us?
You can find us at The Real Realtors of the 804. Make sure you subscribe and like and continue watching.
YouTube?
On YouTube, yes.
And all the podcasts
Podcasts.
where you listen to all your podcasts.
On
Spotify.
yeah, everywhere you listen to it.
Apple.
Yep, get those apps, download it, and
Yep.
we'll help you get to your destination quickly with with some listening.
yep, easy listening.
Exactly.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
everyone.
much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode of The Real Realtors of the 804. If you have a question you would like to ask Janice or her team, please reach out to them at realtorsofthe804@gmail.com or 804-921-9995.